In this video, we'll be looking at how the camera angle on your FPV drone affects how the FPV drone flies. And I'm talking about this camera right over here. Now, the more you tilt it upwards, the more responsive and the faster the drone is going to be, but you will have less control over your flight because things will be moving really fast. Now, we'll be trying this out with 0 degrees of attack, 10 degrees, 20 degrees, 30 degrees, 45 degrees, 60 degrees, and 75 degrees, which is pretty much unflyable. And to demonstrate this, I'll be using the game called Liftoff, which I use very often to train myself for FPV flying. And I think that a lot of FPV pilots actually use this game in order to train and to crash and to try different things. And you can set up your drone, you can pretty much build your drone. I don't have this type of drone in the game, but I made something that's very similar to this in terms of weight, power, and speed and agility. So let's dive right into the game and I'll show you the difference between 0 degrees and all the way up to 75 degrees. Now I'll be using my FPV remote control, which comes with the DJI FPV drone, and I can just plug it into my computer via USB-C and directly into the computer, and I have it as a game controller, so it's really nice to actually have the feel of the sticks as you're training, because when you're out there, well, the remote controller should feel pretty much the same as it, feels right over here. So let's dive right into the game. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to set the angle right over here to 0 degrees. Now let's start flying this and see how this works. Okay, going upwards. Now if you have 0 degrees, I pretty much need to tilt my drone upwards, and I have a lot of throttle control. So if I just punch the throttle, I have a very responsive drone going up and down. But if I want to go forward, I have to tilt the drone, and it always feels like I'm fighting with gravity. So I'm tilting the drone up and I'm adding the throttle to actually make the drone go forward. So it's like always trying to fall on your nose, basically. But I do have a lot of fine control. I have a very slow drone, which means that I'm very aware when things are coming towards me, and I have enough time to actually maneuver away from this. So going downwards here. And I'm not really scared of crashing the drone because I have a lot of throttle control. So if I punch the throttle up, the drone just responds. So let's go around the circle which we'll be flying today. We'll just go around this hallway. And the cool thing about this level is that you have the roof, which is not straight. It's kind of a wavy roof, as you can see right over here, which means that you have to be very aware that things are also coming at you from the top. And this is really cool for actually training whenever you're drone flying. Okay, so let's set the angle to 10 degrees right over here. And let's start off. Now, this is kind of the basic or the first thing you want to do with an FPV drone. Just go with a very shallow angle because you don't want to be too fast. Now, I'm just looking at the direction where I want to fly, and the drone starts to move in that direction, which is really cool. This means that the drone is going to be a little bit faster and also a little bit more responsive as I turn into the corner, because the propellers are always pointing a little bit towards the direction that I'm watching, which means that if I turn, the drone starts to fly in that direction as well. And 10 degrees is kind of a cool starting point for FPV flying because it's not too fast. You still have a lot of time to respond to things coming at you, but you have a more kind of a aeroplane type of flying feeling. So it's almost like flying an aeroplane. So wherever you look, that's where the drone is going to go. Okay. Control it over here. The problem with this, however, is if I turn into the corner and punch the throttle, I'm actually gaining altitude. I'm not pulling or pushing into the corner, which only happens with a more steeper attack angle. So let's try now the 20 degrees. Now this is kind of a typical freestyle angle of attack. So the drone is much faster and a lot more responsive to where I want to fly. So if I turn, the drone really turns quickly, and I have a lot of control as to where I want the drone to fly, but it is much faster, which means that if you crash it in real life, you're going to break it because things are moving really fast. And you can see in the top right corner where it says SPD, that's the speed in kilometers per hour. So I'm pretty much cruising at 70 kilometers per hour, and I have enough control. So if I bank into the corner and add the throttle, the drone then starts to pull into the corner, so it's not drifting like a rally car as much. And this basically increases, the more I increase the angle of the camera, the more control into turning into the corner I have. So the drone isn't drifting as much compared to if I have a low angle on the camera. And this is really important whenever you're learning to fly the drone or your FPV drone, because yeah, that really determines, oh, how the drone flies. Now stopping it is going to be a little bit more difficult. Okay, let's set it now to 30 degrees of attack. This is pretty much a racing drone now. The drone is really fast and it's really going into the direction that I'm actually looking at. I'm still banking down a little bit to make it go faster, but you can see that I'm going 70, 80, 90 kilometers per hour, and I'm just cruising. So it's kind of hard to go slower if I'm looking into the direction that I'm actually flying into. And I can power into the corner, so if I turn in and push the throttle up, the drone actually pulls into the corner, making it a very agile drone, but it's also really fast. So you can see that you can use this pretty much for drone racing, which is what FPV pilots actually use whenever they do racing. They actually, I think they actually lift the camera up a little bit higher. Okay, oh, we're stopping right here on the dime. So let's try the 45 degrees angle. Okay, this is pretty much not controllable in my opinion. Whoa, so if I punch the throttle really hard, the drone just goes faster, it doesn't go upwards, and it's really heavy to actually keep it off the ground. The drone feels really fast and really heavy. So this is, now you can see the speed where we're at 100 kilometers per hour. Okay. Okay, let's try this again. Let's do the loop that I was doing before. Okay, well now you can really see how much faster we are. Here I can just push in to the corner, punch the throttle, and I'm just, the drone just turns. I just turn it into the direction that I want it to fly and punch the throttle, and it just pulls in. So it's not drifting, it has like zero drift. But it is really fast, so flying it slow and having this much level of control is not possible. So you either have a slow drone or a fast drone, which you can really control precisely, but it's really fast. Okay, let's try to land this. Oh, landing this is going to be really hard. Landing this is pretty much impossible. So the lower the angle of the camera is, the easier it is to actually land the drone. If you have it at 45 degrees as I had it before, that means that the drone is flying at 45 degrees, which means that at this speed it's almost impossible to actually land the drone safely without crashing it. So I've never actually landed a drone in manual mode at this angle. I always go down to maybe 10 degrees. And the cool thing about the FPV drone is that you can actually set the camera angle on the fly with the remote. With this button over here, I can just tilt the angle of the camera up and down. Now on a traditional FPV drone, I would actually have to stop, land the drone and set the camera manually and then start all over again. So this is really nice on a DJI FPV drone. Okay, let's push it now to 60 degrees. Now 60 degrees is, it's pretty much the maximum you might want to have. So, oh yeah, this is going to be, this is fun. Whoa, okay, this is really fast. It feels so heavy. I mean, it's really the acceleration. The acceleration is really, it just pushes into the direction you're looking at, but it's so heavy, it's really hard to get it off the ground. I actually have to look up in order to make it go up. It's like flying an airplane. Pretty much, it's an airplane right now. Okay, let's try and do the loop that we were doing before. Okay. Woo! So I have to look up to actually push the drone upwards, and I think this is impossible to fly. I mean, I would never recommend anybody to push it up to 60 degrees, but I think we can still go higher. We can go higher. Okay, let's push it to 75 degrees. Now it's already in the red. Yeah. Okay. I don't think I'll be able to fly this. Just push the throttle all the way. I have it all the way to the max, and I'm still crashing. It's just, okay, let's push it all the way to the max and then just lift the nose up and see the speed. Now you can see the speed. We're going 130 kilometers per hour, which is 140, 145. Oh, that's just crazy. But I'm pretty much looking upwards, so there is absolutely no control. There is absolutely no control if you have your camera angle set to 75 degrees. You're basically always looking upwards. And there you have it, how different camera angles affect how your FPV drone flies. Now, the question is, What is the best camera angle for an FPV drone? Well, the answer to this one isn't actually that easy because it all depends on what type of videos you want to make and how comfortable and skilled you are as a drone pilot. If you want to do float type videos flying over treetops and over mountains and or along coastlines, then yeah, don't be afraid to push the camera up to 30, 35, maybe 40, 45 degrees if you can. Just remember to start slow because things will be moving much faster and you need to find that comfort zone between your ability to control the drone and, well, the actual speed of the drone. On the other hand, if you want to do more freestyle type of videos with loops and, you know, flying around objects, then maybe start with 15 degrees of an angle, 20, 25, slowly build that angle up as you get more comfortable with the speed of your drone. And it's the most important thing is to actually know how your drone flies because every drone is a little bit different. With this, I find that to be 25 degrees is just kind of the right balance between speed, agility, and, you know, my comfort zone in the areas that I fly, which are usually open spaces. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope you found this interesting. Please hit the like button if you did. Also consider subscribing to the channel if you're new because this really helps the channel to grow and it helps to promote my videos even more. So thanks for watching and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.